God bless you. My name is Sister Addison. I'm one of the 3 novices that's preparing for our first Profession of Vows in December. And the Lord, as a young woman who marries her husband, she usually changes her last name, right? And so us, when we marry Jesus, the Lord will call us by a new name, which is our new identity to go forth into the world to minister. And so my new name will be Sister Catherine Nazareth of the Maternal Face of Our Lady.
I am Sister Ana Margarita, and my religious name will be Sister Ana Margarita Maria of the Wounded Face of Love.
My name is Sister Hannah, and my new religious name will be Sister Maria Belen of the Infant Jesus.
Unlike many people, I had the great privilege of growing up with the sisters, the servants of the pierced hearts of Jesus and Mary. This all started because when my mom got pregnant with me, she contracted the chicken pox, which we all know can be very dangerous for the life of the child. The doctors all encouraged my mom to have an abortion because the baby could come blind, deaf, or mentally retarded. My mom, full of fear, came every day to the convent to speak with the sisters, asking them to pray for the baby in her womb. The sisters did this every single day for 9 months, and on February 6, 2000, I was born a healthy baby girl. From that day on, I went straight from the hospital to the convent to be consecrated to the 2 hearts of Jesus and Mary, and from there, it was totally normal for me to come to the convent every day. I didn't realize that this wasn't normal for every other kid my age until I was in middle school, where I began to see how not everyone would come to the convent, how many people didn't know what religious life was, which for me was so normal. I saw it every day of my life.
Growing up, I was raised in a Catholic family. I went to Catholic schools from preschool all the way through high school, which was a great gift, a great blessing. I didn't know religious sisters growing up. I mean, probably they came to our school to speak once every few years, but I never really considered it as an option. But the Lord in my youth planted the little seeds that I would later understand that they were my vocation. And so when I went to college, I knew that I wanted to serve people, and I thought that the way that the Lord wanted me to do that was to be a doctor. So I put all my effort into that goal. And somewhere halfway through my college years, I realized that at that point in my life, I had the things that I thought that I wanted, and that I was so unhappy. I remember looking in the mirror and thinking to myself, why do I feel so empty? And it's not that I left the faith, but I wasn't living the faith in the fullness that the Lord wanted of my life. And so right after that, a friend invited me to a retreat. And on that retreat, I encountered the Lord in the Eucharist for the first time. I knew that the Lord was in the Eucharist, but I'd never encountered him. I'd never had that personal experience with him in the Eucharist. And once I experienced him, I realized that all of my priorities were wrong and that I needed to change what I was doing. And so little by little, because it's not an overnight, it's not like then I knew I was called to religious life and so then I entered the convent. No, of course, it's not like that. It's natural, little by little. And so little by little, I started to change my life, to change my priorities towards the Lord. For example, I did not like to pray the rosary every day. And so it was really quite a challenge for me in the beginning to do that, so I started by praying 3 Hail Marys a night. And so now, as a religious family, we pray rosary in community every day, and we try to pray an individual rosary too. But I didn't start by praying 2 rosaries a day. No, I started by praying 3 Hail Marys as I was falling asleep at night.
I grew up in Illinois in a Catholic family, and I had the immense gift of being able to be at a Catholic school from kindergarten to 8th grade. And it is there that I was able to learn the beauty of our faith and to learn about Jesus and Our Lady. And so I was beginning to learn the treasures of our faith, especially through the saints. And so even at a young age, 7, 8 years old, I learned about Saint Therese, doing a saint report. And so I was really getting to know the saints and the beauty of their life, of giving the totality of themselves to the Lord for his service, for his glory, to bring many hearts to the Lord. And so from that time of being a little 7-year-old Sister Hannah, I realized that I too wanted to do just what Saint Therese did. And even though I did not realize that, I saw the beauty of the totality of her femininity, her spousal heart, to be for the Lord and to be at his service, to do whatever he wants in order to bring many hearts to his love. Again, I didn't really understand that from being very little, but that was a moment that the Lord permitted for my heart to experience that first tug of the Lord. And so this is a visual that I see of the Lord doing throughout my life and my heart, of always bringing me back to that original calling that he placed in my heart. So we continue to build upon that. So a very important thing to know is that I did not grow up with religious, so I did not see religious life. And so I can see that this was a grace from the Lord, because how could I be attracted to something if I did not see it? So our vocation is a calling from the Lord. So as I look back, I see that that was a grace that was from his heart, that he placed in my own heart.
Although it was so normal for me to grow up with the sisters, to see what they did in their day-to-day life, to be a part of their day-to-day life, I didn't believe that the Lord was calling me to this vocation. During one of the many pilgrimages that I have been with the sisters, it was in 2015, we went to Holy Land. And while in Holy Land, we went to visit the city called Magdala, which is where St. Mary Magdalene is from. And there they have a beautiful church that has the ark, and behind the ark, which is the altar, there is a clear glass, so you see out into the whole Sea of Galilee. While there, we had some time of adoration where the priest took Jesus around the whole church, and when Jesus was coming toward me, I was asking him if he truly wanted me to be a religious, as this had been a desire that I had started to have in my heart after an encounter with one of the sisters and speaking to her. And so I was asking the Lord, is this truly what you want for my life? Because it's not what I want for my life. And in that moment, I saw something that I had never seen and have never seen after that day. In the host, I saw the crown of thorns. And for me, right away in my heart, I knew that was the Lord telling me yes. After that, there was many other little signs throughout my time in high school that the Lord revealed that religious life was the path for my life to grow in holiness too. And so after time of discerning, after coming to visit the convent, even though I had grown up here, seeing truly what religious life was, trying to live it, I entered the convent August 15th of 2018 after I graduated high school. And now on December 11th, I will be professing my first vows to be the bride of Christ.
And so little by little, I changed my priorities to see what the Lord wanted, and I let the Lord into my life so that he could show me his plan for my life, which even though I thought that his plan was also my plan, it wasn't. And so one day, as I was praying in front of the Lord in the Eucharist, I heard deeply in my heart, Addison, I want your whole heart. And I would love to tell you that I was like super excited, like, yes, Lord, I want to be your bride and everything at first, but no, I was so scared, and I was like, no, Lord, maybe I can just be married and give you my whole heart, because, I still would go to church and things, but no. Little by little, the Lord showed me that he wanted me to be his bride. He wanted me to be a religious. And so I drew the strength to follow him from going to him in the Eucharist. Every day I would ask him to give me the grace. Please, Lord, give me the grace to do your will. And little by little, he did.
Then I started to feel the stirring of the Lord, bringing me back to that first calling. And in scriptures, he started to speak to my heart of offering my body as a living sacrifice, as St. Paul says to the Romans. And the first thing that popped up was religious life. And again, I did not see that. But again, the Lord placed that in my heart. And so I always had that in the back of my heart and mind. But I tried to put it farther and farther back in my mind. But the Lord, over time, would always bring it to the forefront. And so over time, I began this wrestling match with the Lord of wanting what I wanted, because that was very unknown to me and very scary. And so I started to have my own plan of, no, I'm going to get married, I'm going to have a family. I started going to college for a career path and everything, and all that seemed to look very beautiful. But in my heart, I could tell that I was miserable, and that's not what the Lord wanted. And I sensed so much that I was a circle wooden peg jamming myself into a square peg, because I was basing my happiness on what other people expected of me. But that's not what the Lord expected of me. So of course it didn't fit smoothly as it was supposed to, because it's not where I was supposed to go. So over this time I was having this wrestling match again of really just allowing fear to paralyze me. And so I really encourage that if you're discerning a vocation to religious life, if you know that the Lord is calling you, don't be afraid. As St. John Paul II said, do not be afraid to open wide the doors of your heart to Christ, and really just open your heart and don't be afraid, because if he's calling you, he's going to provide everything you need, and he's going to be there to catch you. If you feel like that you're on the edge of a cliff about to jump into something completely unknown, don't be afraid, because the hands of love will be there to hold you and to be your everything. And so the Lord began to speak more to my heart about his love and to just trust in him of what he wanted, to truly want what he wanted. And so I had to take that first step. And when we start walking, the Lord continues to guide. And so it was just walking in that path that he continued to open more doors, and I continued to receive more confirmation from the Lord that this is truly what he wanted. And I started to be filled with so much joy and peace. And I could tell you now that I have so much peace knowing that this is what the Lord created me for. And I look back and I see, how could I have done that to myself, of causing all this extra turmoil? But he used everything to just convict my heart even more. So I just encourage you that if you find yourself in a similar situation, to please do not be afraid to let the Lord in and to show you his love, and to just take a step and to want what he wants.
In religious life, very much like a married couple, where the Lord calls them out of their biological families to form a new family, the Lord does the same in our hearts. So the Lord calls us out of our biological families to form this new family, his family, a new Nazareth, in which we are called to, as a family, a religious family, love and serve the Lord with all our hearts and grow in love for him. And in growing in our love for him, grow in our love for one another, which we show to one another. We show this love for our sisters through our service, which we see that in a concrete example in the house of Nazareth. Our Lady Saint Joseph and our Lord served each other unconditionally, and thus revealed their love for each other in this way.
On December 11th, we will be making our vows. What does this mean? It means that we will become totally consecrated to the Lord, totally dedicated to him, and to bring many hearts to him. This is like our wedding day. We become the spouse of Christ, his bride and mother to many souls. We do this through professing 4 vows. The first one, poverty, meaning that I give everything to receive the Lord as my only treasure. Chastity, meaning that I love the Lord with an undivided heart, and that he becomes my only love, filled with his love. The third one is obedience, meaning that I listen to the Lord, to obey and to be led wherever he wants me to go. The fourth one is total Marian identification and availability, which is very particular and special in our Marian charism.
Okay, so say I know that I'm called to religious life. Then what's the next step? The next step is to discern which community the Lord is calling me to. But since the call to religious life is a call to a covenant of love, it's not like applying to college where I go and visit every college and make a list of pros and cons. No, our vocation is like a little seed. And we need to discern what soil the Lord needs me to plant it in. So if my seed is a seed of corn, I cannot plant it in the soil of Miami because it will not grow. The same as if my vocation is like a seed of mango, I can't plant it in the soil of Illinois because it will not flourish there. So when I was discerning that process, I had to look at that seed of my vocation and see what were the elements that the Lord had placed in my path that were important for me. And for me, that 2 of those were Eucharistic spirituality and a Marian spirituality. And those are 2 of the 4 pillars of our community spirituality, which is Eucharistic, Marian, in the heart of the church, and open to the gifts of the Holy Spirit. So if those sound like your seed, perhaps you're also called to this beautiful vocation in the Institute of the Servants of the Pierced Hearts of Jesus and Mary. And something else that's unique to our charism is that we make a 4th vow. Our 4th vow is of Marian identification and Marian availability. We not only do we love Our Lady, do we consecrate to Our Lady, are we devoted to Our Lady, but we are truly called to be the image and presence of Our Lady. and we are called to be that image and presence in the heart of the church. In some religious institutes, they have a set apostolate. So some institutes, they're all teachers, or they all serve as nurses. But ours, because we are called to be the all-embracing maternity of Our Lady and to form the human heart, we have many different apostolates like Our Lady would have. So we serve the youth. We serve in elementary schools, in middle schools, high schools, at Newman centers. Some sisters serve as DREs. We have sisters serving in the military ordinariate in Rome. We also have a sister who serves in the Shrine of Our Lady of La Leche. We do pilgrimages. We have sisters that work in social media. We do retreats, talks, and we will continue growing in our apostolate as Our Lady needs us to walk throughout the world with her feet to bring the love of Christ to many hearts.
On December 11th, the Vespers of the Feast Day of Our Lady of Guadalupe, we will be professing our vows.
We invite you to join us on our webpage and social media.
We ask you to please hold us in your prayers and know of our prayers for you as well.
May love always triumph!